I welcome the introduction, and welcome Minister, of course. I welcome the introduction of the Defence Amendment Bill 2004 to the Senate. The bill represents a crucial step towards the ongoing reform of our defence forces, addressing some of the most pressing issues that have come to light in recent years. The establishment of an external oversight body for the defence forces is a particularly welcome development. The initiative was recommended by the Independent Review Group, which was tasked with examining allegations of discrimination, bullying, harassment and sexual harassment, and any form of sexual misconduct within the Defence Force. The introduction of this body is not just a response to these grave issues, but a proactive step towards ensuring such behaviours are eradicated from our military culture. The mission of the new oversight body is clear and commendable, and I quote, to implement a successful culture change programme convincingly from the top, and including initiatives grounded in the vision of the future defence forces, end of quote. This body will be pivotal in driving the cultural transformation needed to foster an environment of respect, integrity and accountability. It will bring about a new governance and oversight structure that enhances transparency and holds the leadership of the defence forces to account for progress on this vital culture change programme. However, it is important to note a significant concern regarding the composition of the new oversight body, already alluded to by the previous speakers. As it stands, none of the associations representing our defence personnel, PD Fora, RACA, RD, FRA and others, are guaranteed a seat at the table. They're not guaranteed a position. Now, this omission is concerning as to perspectives and experience of these representative associations are invaluable in shaping policies that affect the members directly. And there's nothing to suggest, there's everything to suggest the contrary, that these people would not take a logical, objective view of proceedings and would not share a desire to put the forces on a proper footing and to eliminate the dreadful cultural aspects that we're trying to get rid of. In fact, I would have thought that the representative bodies would have an ownership and a desire and a real anxiety, as is the case in other professional bodies like the INTO, the INMO and many other professional bodies. They would have an ambition for the very best of outcomes, so that they could project outwards in making demands for salary, etc., that they could show a transparent and excellent force. And I see, in fact, I think their input would be important. It doesn't obviate the prospect of other individuals being involved. It's no way prejudice that. And I do welcome in that context, as I mentioned, the representative bodies, that the bill does include a framework to enhance and bring forward their association with ICTU. I strongly urge the Minister to reconsider this aspect of the bill. The inclusion of representatives from the representative associations on the oversight body would ensure that the voices of our defence personnel are heard and respected at the highest levels of decision making. And surely we'd want that, and to get for buy-in to the decisions of the body and for implementation and for ownership, etc. It would seem logical. Their insights, and it's wrong to suggest that there would be in some way negative and in some way seeking to avoid reform. I think the contrary would be the case. Their insights are crucial to achieve the meaningful and lasting changes we all aspire to. The formation of this body is a decisive step towards fostering a safer and more respectful environment for all service members, and the association must have a say, as they are the most looped in with their members' actual lived experience. And it seems to me a kind of around that they wouldn't be involved. The strategic framework on the transformation of the Defence Forces, published in September 23, has laid out an ambitious and comprehensive plan for immediate actions to support this transformation. The Defence Amendment Bill 2024 is a key component of this framework, and it is in the first of two bills aimed at amending the Defence Acts this year. In summary, this bill makes several necessary amendments to the Defence Acts 1954 to 2015. It establishes the external oversight body on a statutory basis, provides a statutory framework for the Minister for Defence to consent to military representatives associating with ICTU, which of course I have already welcomed and do welcome in particular. It is an important step towards ensuring that the voices of Defence Force members are heard within the wider labour movement. By affiliating with ICTU, our Defence Force members will gain greater representation and influence, empowering them to advocate for their rights and working conditions more effectively, which should address some of the issues correctly identified by Senator McDowell in terms of numbers, etc., and morale. And that's important that they're there at the coalface sorting that. As we move forward with this bill, I want us to keep in mind the ultimate goal: to create a defence force that not only meets the highest standards of military excellence, but also embodies the values of respect, integrity and accountability. The bill is a significant step in that direction, and I will be supporting it. I'm happy to know that the complaints procedure is going well and is being enhanced, and that's very important within the Defence Forces, that there is an immediate and accessible and responsive complaints procedure, and I've gathered this progress here. There's a reference in the bill to a continuous professional development plan. I think this is crucial in addressing retention within the Army, and I would commend that as a very necessary one. The removal of age restriction is important, addressed in section 8 and 9, and that people can be re-engaged with the Army and with the Reserve Defence Forces. The whole concept of age, I'd certainly like to believe myself, has moved considerably. So our collective, now, and I should say, our collective revulsion at the base, at what brought about this whole discussion, at the abuse, at the gender inequality, at the bullying, at all of that, our collective revulsion merits stating at all times. I'd like to now turn briefly, in the time that's left, to the matter raised by Senator McDowell already, and on which I've often raised in this House and feel very strongly about, and that's our Reserve Defence Forces. It was a wonderful exercise in patriotism. It inculcated civic spirit, it inculcated leadership, it inculcated all the right kind of values into young people, and was a great outlet. And it's a shame, it's an absolute shame that we've let it go. And we need to, not just to aspire to it in some way, but to actually do something about it. We need to make the medical checks quicker. We need a better advertising campaign in the schools for recruitment to the RDF. We do need, and that will lead to what Senator McDowell said, to eliminate those 60 and 40-mile journeys for people who are voluntary in their spare time. It's absurd. We need more training opportunities. We need a whole proactive approach to developing the RDF, the Reserve Defence Forces. And at a time when retention and recruitment into the senior forces, into the permanent defence forces, is difficult, surely that makes it very necessary, as in the case of the Gardaí, to have a feeder, a potential feeder organisation into the Army, but irrespective of that, a standalone defence body. They should be fit to engage in joint operations with the permanent defence forces. In some instances, there's no reason why they couldn't go abroad with the permanent defence forces. There should be an attractive educational and personal development opportunities within the RDF, so that it would be attractive to to join. I mean, I have 3 young sons. Not one of them have ever suggested that wish to join the RDF. It should be an option that at a minimum look at. And at a minimum, and I would like to think they're civic-minded, I'd like to think they're very patriotic, but surely they should see this as an option. I doubt if they're even aware of it as an option, and that's how bleak it is. So, Minister, that's very important. So I think we need to deal with that too. But the whole thrust of the objectives of this, we're all in unanimous agreement with. So please look at 2 things. The involvement of the representative bodies in a statutory way, and the involvement and the reform of the RDF and the support of the RDF in a proper way. If I wish to get those 2 points across as critical. Thank you very much.